maybe in two different leagues, but their history runs deep. World Series games and memorable interleague moments tie these two California franchises together. Tonight, the A's visit historic Dodger Stadium, and Sean Manaea will look to continue his hot start and make his mark on this unique rivalry. A's, Dodgers, Game 1, next. Well, after an off day, it is back to work for the Athletics, and we got our first taste of interleague baseball. They're ready, and so are we. And so is the big left-hander, Sean Manaea. It's the Oakland A's and the Los Angeles Dodgers coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball, along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Last year, the Dodgers were the best team in all of baseball in the regular season, and they made it all the way to Game 7 of the World Series. But, Ray, they're a very good team, but off to a very slow start this year.
I agree with you 100%. It's not who you play, it's when you play. But look at those numbers for the Dodgers. They won the National League, 7th game of the World Series, yet they're not scoring runs. Pitching is not that great. There's a lot of things that's not happening that are going to be happening better for the Dodgers in the future. Right now, it's a great time to play them. Let's hope that's the case for tonight for the A's.
Let's hope that's the case for Sean Manaea. He's making his third start of the year. He's been terrific in his first two. For more on that, let's head down to the field where Dallas Braden is standing by.
That's right, guys. We know about the torrid start that Sean Manaea has been off to, slicing and dicing against Anaheim. Followed it up with a tremendous outing against Texas last time out, and to the tune of 67%. 67% first pitch strikes, guys. That's a career high. The first three batters of the Los Angeles Dodgers lineup have a combined on-base percentage of 260. So what does that tell me, and what should that tell you? If Manaea can get going early and get ahead often, it could be a long day for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's see what the big lefty has in store.
All right, should be fun. It's the A's and the Dodgers, Game 1 of a two-game series. Up next, we'll head back to the A's pregame live studios and then back to Dodger Stadium for A's baseball.
places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family. Only at Jack in the Box.
So welcome back to Dodger Stadium as Marcus Semien stepping in the box, and we're just about set to go for game one of the two-game series. We'll get you the weather and the lineup and the defense in just a moment.
They're ready to play.
We are ready for baseball. The home plate umpire says, that's Rob Drake, says, not quite yet. Actually, let's take a quick look at this game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open for spring break. And we can tell you it is a very, very nice night here in Southern California. 77 degrees. And it's actually cooled off a little bit. It was very, very warm yesterday. It got into the low 90s here in Los Angeles yesterday on the A's off day.
Okay, if they say 7-10 start, Rob Drake's got to make sure it's at least that before he does allow you to make the first pitch. He may be tired and he may need to take some more warm-up tosses.
I think now we're officially ready. Hyunjin Ryu is the pitcher. Big left-hander kicks, and here is the first pitch of the game, and it's a bit outside to Marcus Semien. So we're underway from Dodger Stadium, interleague baseball for the first time this year for the Athletics, and obviously for both of these teams. Changeup is high, 2-0.
You know, as we were talking about with Brody and the guys back in the studio about interleague play beginning so early. But the nice thing is being on the West Coast and nice weather. Sure. Because talking to some of the scouts how bad it is back in the Midwest and the East.
That one is skied toward left field. It's hit pretty well. Kemp drifting back. Kemp near the warning track, and he makes the catch. So that is how the ball game ends. A high deep fly ball by Marcus Semien. Here's the A's lineup, which is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Semien, Chapman, Lowry. Davis is at left, and Olson, Lucroy, Piscotty, Smolinski, and of course the pitcher Sean Manaea.
And the A's are going to see a couple of lefties. Ryu tonight, Wood tomorrow night for Ryu. He is making second start. He had some troubles, obviously, as you look at his ERA, 3 2/3 innings. He had 5 walks in those 3 2/3. And he throws his changeup, which he just did. He's got the fastball, the cut, the curve, the slider, the changeup, a lot of different types of pitches.
Facing Matt Chapman. Chapman slides up to the second spot in the A's lineup, as he has been a very hot hitter.
Always like to see when players do move in the lineup, they do not change their approach. Down 6 and 7 in the lineup, and 3 home runs that he has hit, and hitting second, of course, maybe just against the lefties, but tonight, tomorrow night, of course, the A's are going to see an abundance of lefties between now and through the Red Sox series, which would start with the White Sox next week and followed by the Red Sox. We got Sale and Price. We've got a whole bunch of guys with the Red Sox, but right now, first and foremost tonight with Ryu and the Dodgers.
1-2 pitch inside. Chapman did not get a hit on Sunday, and that snapped his 9-game hitting streak. Overall, though, hitting .375. That's the second best average in the American League in the very early going. So if I tell you he's second, then I always feel like I should tell you who's first, right? Robinson Cano's hitting .407. Simmons and Elvis Andrus lead the league in hits with 17. Chapman has 15.
Well, there's not been a 4 in front of a batting average since 1941. And I don't think it's going to change in 2018.
No, I don't think so.
You take a 3, but a 4, I don't know.
There's the rest of the top 5 in the early going. Didi Gregorius off to a great start. Joe Mauer with the Twins.
Well, considering Matt Chapman was well under 200 on the interstate, as we were talking about in Anaheim during the Cactus League portion.
Is that a 3-2 changeup? So Chapman takes the walk. A's have a 1-out base runner. Here's Bob Melvin's defense for, or not Bob Melvin, Dave Roberts' defense It'll be Kemp in left, and it'll be Taylor, and then Puig. That's your outfield. Kemp, Taylor, Puig. Forsythe, Seager, Hernandez, Bellinger. The infield, and Austin Barnes is the catcher. So, the Dodgers defense missing Justin Turner. I think they miss him badly.
Oh,
right?
real badly.
I think and we see the Dodgers some, just watching them, and I always felt like last year they had a great lineup. I mean, I thought Turner was the toughest out in that lineup.
Right in the middle,
Yeah.
and he made everybody better.
Yeah.
And crowds the plate, as unfortunately it happened with Kendall Graveman. And you know, for Kendall Graveman, who hit him in spring training towards the end, that's the way Kendall's been pitching. I was talking to Scott Emerson. He says it's all about the release point and trying to throw down and through versus kind of a cross. And unfortunately, he had 11 ground ball outs in his second start. However, he's given up 5 home runs, which is not typically what Kendall Graveman does throughout a season.
Strike 3 called on an 0-2 pitch. So Ryu gets his first strikeout, catches Lowry looking.
Well, we know one thing about Ryu. He's going to be around the strike zone. He's not afraid to mix pitches, as you can tell by the first pitch off-speed offerings. Here he just goes backdoor with that little cutter against the righties, something he's really grown accustomed to doing.
Pitchcast brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company. So here's Chris Davis. He's still waiting for Chris Davis to get going. When he does, that'll obviously make a big difference for this offense. Davis at 179. He's got 7 hits and 39 at bats, a homer and 5 RBIs.
You notice him adjusting his helmet. Remember how we have seen him in the early part of the season. He did not need to adjust the helmet, but let the hair out, and he's kind of pushing it down, trying to get it secure on his head.
Well, it's not Oscar Gamble yet.
No, because he didn't have an ear flap for Oscar Gamble, Oscar Gamble. But you know, hey Voos, give me a different size helmet. I need a bigger one.
Davis takes that one low. 1-2 the count.
You got to switch it up a little, Foss. That's, you know, you got to get rid of the braids, keep the same lid, because you don't want to get rid of too much good mojo. There's 40+ jacks in that bad boy.
I was wondering when you were going to chime in about the hair.
You've known us long enough now, Dallas. Ray and I are not changing a lot.
Exactly.
When it comes to hairdos.
Yeah. A couple of young, good players at first base.
Yep.
Matt Chapman, Cody Bellinger.
Young power bats.
Yes, indeed.
Strike 3 call. So Ryu gets Lowry and Davis looking, and the A's strand a runner in the top of the first. Dodgers come to bat against Manaea when we come back. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Taylor, Seager, Puig Hernandez, Kemp, Bellinger, Forsythe, Barnes, and Ryu. Dodgers lineup. There it is.
Sean Manaea's third start, in first against the Dodgers, of course, but for Sean Manaea, 1-1, he could be 2-0. He did win his last game, but the important thing about Sean Manaea, he's pitched deep in the games, 7 2/3, 8 innings, and he's got a mustache growing. Wow. That looks very strange.
See what happens when you spend 6 days in Los Angeles, Ray?
Wow.
First pitch to Taylor is outside.
I see that's a mustache that's down. Mingdon will be pitching tomorrow, so he'll turn it up with a mustache wax.
Strike to Chris Taylor. Taylor at 205, one of the many Dodgers who's just off to a slow start. Taylor 8 hits and 39 at bats. He's got a double, he's got a triple. Inside just a little bit. Dodgers come in 3-6 on the year. They're 2-2 at home, 1-4 on the road. So they have played 9 games this year. 6 of those games against the Giants. So they're probably ready to see some other teams. That one is hit deep to left. Chris Davis near the wall, and Davis is going to run out of room, and Chris Taylor has a leadoff home run.
Well, we talked about the first 5 of the batting order do not have a home run. Well, Chris Taylor just added 1 in his column. As Sean Manaea, the 2-1 pitch, and straight in. I mean, that's a 90-mile-an-hour. Here it is. Hit me. It's batting practice fastball. Chris Taylor did not miss it. Marcus Semien almost did, but this is the difference. This was solidly hit, and really had no doubt when he left his bat. Chris Davis went back to the warning track, but no chance.
So a early 1-0 lead for the Dodgers. Here's Corey Seager. Well, you fall behind in the count.
Yeah. Not Trout, the other home run hit in his first start.
We talked about how important it was for Manaea to establish strike one early with the statistic, the on-base percentage combined for the top 3 hitters of the Los Angeles Dodgers, 261 combined OBP.
That one's hit deep to right.
What happened to slider? Changeup. I mean, these are center cut fastballs. It's like a heavyweight fight. You know where it gets settled down. And well, location, Dallas, you've said it, location, and these guys have power, and unfortunately, they have unleashed it. First 2 batters in this game, and just a total of 7 pitches. 2-1 and a 1-1. I think you better go to the other pitches a little bit.
Here's Yasiel Puig hitting in the 3rd spot. So Taylor hits his first, Seager hits his first.
Well, I'm sorry I mentioned the first 5 hadn't hit a home run.
Yeah.
I guess if I could change that, I wouldn't be here. But yeah, that's
so 2-0 the count to Puig. Gotta be careful here.
This is a good club. I mean, and you know what you said is correct about when you play them, when you don't play them.
So Puig is retired.
If that's all he gives up, then things will be good. He's given up as many tonight in the first 2 batters, and he's given up his first 2 starts.
Here's the A's defense. See the battery, Manaea and Lucroy. The infield of Olsen, Lowry, Simeon, Chapman, and in the outfield, Davis, Smolinski, and Piscotty. So here is Kike Hernandez.
Good slider. He was sitting fastball first pitch. Got a slider.
Well, Foss, to your point, I think what we've seen early on already is an aggressive approach from the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm sure they're privy to the success that Manaea's had early with the off-speed, deeper in counts. They don't want to wait around. They don't want to get to it. Hit the heater. Hit it first.
Back-to-back sliders to Hernandez. He had 3 home runs last year in Chicago in the postseason.
So 1-2 the count. There's Dave Roberts in his 3rd season, managing here in Los Angeles. This is some of the struggles early for the Dodgers. 29 runs scored. 2nd fewest in the National League at .213 batting average. And these numbers coming into this game. And before the Taylor Seager home runs, just 4 home runs in the first 9 games. So it's just been a slow start offensively for the Dodgers. As we said, I don't think there's any question they missed Justin Turner a whole bunch. Hey, tonight, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Hernandez pops a foul back, 2-2 the count.
Got some good seats.
Yeah.
Watching the game.
A lot of good seats in this ballpark.
Yeah.
Hernandez checks his swing, so it's a full count.
Every time I see the number 14 on Kiki Hernandez, I think of Mike Scioscia. How could that number not be retired?
Swing and a miss. He struck him out, took a little off. So good pitch there by Manaea.
Left fielder.
Sean Manaea was on our bus, the 2nd bus, and he had his gloves as he watched this great changeup from the tall left-hander and pulled the string nicely. But he had his glove, and I said, "Did you throw yesterday in the off day?" And he said, "No, I was just practicing." So Kendall Graven, talking to Andrew Triggs, these guys have had off days. Triggs will pitch before the next off day, or after the off day on Thursday in Seattle. So he's going to find a way. And it's going to be raining. He said, find an indoor high school gym or something to throw, because everything's kind of habit forming.
And to even as a guy who loved to get your work in, at times you need to figure out when and where you take your rest. I was somebody who, even with an off day, I needed to play catch. I'd want to grab the ball, just touch it, feel it at least, do some moving around. So I can get on board with Manaea as far as the mindset is concerned. You know what? Let me take the glove home, be that much closer. I know I got a big start ahead of me. I'm with it.
Well, guys who struggle with the bat would sleep with it.
Sure.
I mean, put the bat in bed with them. Try to
tape aspirin to it, make it feel better.
If somebody was going great, rub it.
Yeah.
Let them rub it.
2-1 to the veteran Matt Kemp back in a Dodger uniform.
I'm going to say, if you don't recognize him for the last couple of years, it's because he's lost a whole bunch of weight.
Hey, looks good.
He does look great. And playing right in the middle of this lineup. And
slices this one toward Piscotty. Piscotty going back, and that's going to be over his head. Bangs off the wall. Piscotty gets it back in quickly, and Kemp with a head first dive. He's got a double.
well, going opposite field, and the thing about this is that it's inside out. You know, as a hitter, it's not going out. You have to bust it hard, because if it hits off the wall the way it did, if you're half stepping at the second base, you're going to be thrown out. So Kemp hustling all the way, and he did not. First of all, he knew it wasn't going out and realized he better get going, because it's going to come back hard to Piscotty. Made a strong throw. And you could probably blame that on the great Don Newcomb, because Nuke told him, he said, you got to get a fastball, be ready for it. Well, that was a 2-2 fastball, and he was. Don Newcomb, one of the greats from the Brooklyn Dodgers, and now working for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Alongside Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, whenever integration began, which is a big day coming up this Sunday, April the 15th. Jackie Robinson Day. The A's will be in Seattle. Everybody wearing the number 42.
Here's Cody Bellinger. This is the first one.
There's Campanella 39. Got Don Drysdale 53. Sandy Koufax, Don Sutton. He got some pretty good numbers up there. Retired numbers.
There's a strike. So 0-2 to Bellinger.
A lot of history around this ballpark. I can remember the last time I was in this ballpark. I hit the trifecta, Foss. That's right. I had a conversation with Sandy Koufax, Don Newcomb, and Fernando Valenzuela all in the same day. You want to talk about starstruck? Wow.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. So Manaea gets out of it, but a couple of long balls. Taylor and Seager go back-to-back. 2-0 Dodgers after 1.
It's now time for 60.
You by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
Two 2-0 Dodgers lead on a couple of home runs. So Matt Olson steps in against Ryu. Shows bunt as the shift is on. Seager is playing shortstop, and he's playing a shallow shortstop like the infield is in. So 2-0 to Matt Olson, 256 with a couple of home runs for Olson. He was 3 for 10 with a homer in the series in Anaheim over the weekend. Shoots that one foul past Matt Williams. Matt Williams played a lot of games here in his time with Arizona and San Francisco, so he knows all about this ballpark.
Well, the Dodgers and the Giants both came out in 1958 from Brooklyn and New York. First two teams on the West Coast.
2-2. I would guess that was kind of a big deal. Right?
Well,
because the furthest team west was the Cardinals.
That's
right?
it. Well, the Midwest, that's it. That's why for a long time they traveled by train, because everything from the Mississippi east and nothing west of the Mississippi.
Good breaking ball, and Olson could not pull the trigger. 3 straight strikeouts for Ryu, all looking.
Catcher number 21, Jonathan Lucroy.
Well, we talk about Matt Olson. We know about the power. We know about the ability to extend the arms. And Ryu, a reverse splits guy. Not quite the success against the lefties as he does the righties. Here, able to drop that deuce in there and lock up Ole.
So 1 out, and here's Lucroy. Well, there's many different versions of the story, but here's Ryu. The fastball change curve. So, Ray, you said he's got a little bit of everything.
Well, if you're looking at anybody below 50% with a fastball, you know he's a kind of a finesse jump ball pitcher. He's not throw anything. 5 different pitches. that you started to say about?
No, I was just saying that the story goes that Walter O'Malley in Brooklyn said we need a new ballpark. Ebbets Field is ancient, old, and they just could not get it done. And he said, "I'm going to move if you don't." And I think they I don't think they thought he would.
What was it, Horace Stoneham, who he said, "You've got to go with me because I can't go by myself."
Go. Two teams had to go.
Two, and one in San Francisco, one in Los Angeles, and that kind of started it. And now you look around baseball and you see how many are west of the Mississippi.
Yeah. Seager scoops it up. Yeah, you had to have two teams go.
But it's like Tucson spring training. You know, at one time there were two, then there were three, and I think there was a stipulation that at least not two, and they moved everybody up north, but to the valley. And it's the same with the West Coast. And now you have Seattle, you have Oakland, San Francisco, San Diego. I mean, look at all the teams in California alone.
Could you imagine those conversations though between Stoneham and O'Malley? You think we should really do this? You want to do it?
Right.
Let's do it. I mean, and both teams left New York, which is hard to believe too if you think about it.
4 teams, are 3 teams in the borough.
The Yankees were like, good, get them out.
Yeah.
We'll take the whole area. Slowly hit. Seager charges. Man, that's a good inning for you. 3 up, 2 down, couple of groundouts and a strikeout. Bottom of the second. Coming up, 2-0 Dodgers.
Download the app, play for free, and start your streak for a chance at $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today.
So bottom of the second inning. It'll be Forsythe, Barnes, and Ryu, the bottom 3 against Manaea, who will try to settle in after a little bit of a rough first inning. Logan Forsythe, veteran infielder, playing third base with Turner out. Turner comes back. He'll slide back over to second base, which is the spot he plays most of the time.
Yeah, kind of is interesting with Joe Davis or Hershiser giving a preview of tonight's game. Hershiser talking about the excellent fastball from Sean Manaea and how much better that's been. And coincidentally, the first 2 batters hit fastballs. Yeah. And Manaea's warming up in the bullpen thinking, well, if they're thinking I'm throwing fastballs, maybe I should not throw the fastball. And he threw fastballs, and he's down 2-0. But the one thing about Manaea in his 2 starts, every pitch has been working. The fastball, yes, but it's the slider, the changeup, mixing all of his pitches. The backdoor slider, the changeup, slider down and in to the right-handers. Fastball both sides. But they were just center cut fastballs to the first 2 hitters.
And I think the success that he's had with the off-speed, Foss, is exactly why we're seeing the aggression on the fastball. He's trying to establish that. I think everybody knows that's the name of the game. Establish the heater to both sides if you can, and then start to work off from there.
Oh, there's a great note on Sean Manaea. See the pitch usage. Lots of fastballs, lots of changeups. Trying to settle in here. He's the first ace pitcher on an opening inning roster to start the season with back-to-back outings of 7 innings or more and 1 run or less since, I'm going to give it a year. 1994. Pretty good young right-hander. Injuries sort of curtailed his career.
For 99,
There it
Steve
is.
Carsey, you're right.
1994. Remember when Steve Carsey got to the A's? He had some nasty stuff.
Well, I also remember he was the first pitcher that the Orioles had no clue what he threw, and they all looked at the board that showed every pitch, every velocity, and you'd see the guys in the on-deck circle looking at the board. They could care less about looking at him. They wanted to see what he threw and the velocity, and it showed everything. The way that out by Barnes was a good one because it does bring the pitcher up. You don't want to have a runner on base, gives them a chance to bunt, put a runner in scoring position, even with 1 out. That's what they do in the National League. Biggest difference here, as we mentioned, the National League pitchers do take batting practice. Other than, well, even the day that they're pitching, they're usually doing something in the cage.
That one hit high and foul. Bounces off the facing of the upper deck, then all the way down into the lower deck. There's really 5 levels.
That's right.
The 5th is kind of just a smaller. You see the smaller deck way up on top. That's just really kind of behind home plate. There's the very large upper deck. There's the suite level, and then there's kind of that middle level, and then of course down on the bottom. See, there's the 5.
What, 62 they said was the first year, third Otis Stadium. A's first year 68.
So full count to Ryu.
One thing that Don Newcomb talking about the late Roy Campanella, because of the accident when they left Brooklyn, didn't get a chance to play at the LA Coliseum.
Not close, and he walked him.
You know what he did on that? He just tried to guide, thinking, here's the pitcher, I can't walk him. And he really did not aggressively go after him. And on one hand, you could say, well, he has to run the bases, but they're going to play behind him. That's what Bob Millman's trying to tell Matt Olson. What are you doing? Yeah, there you go. You know, the face of the pitcher, you have to pitch him just like you do regular hitters, and you know, blow him away on 3 if you can, but ended up throwing him a total of 7 pitches.
Well, what I'd like to see out of the pitcher too when they're facing the opposing man is go ahead and use that time, especially for Manaea, a guy who's had the fastball jumped on early. Go ahead and let this at bat be the one that gets you back into the groove of moving that fastball around. Challenge, understanding there's a good chance you won't lose this battle against this guy with the fastball.
And now it's 2-0, so you fall behind. This is what Taylor did, leading off the bottom of the 1st.
2-1 fastball, and basically location, it's right there. I mean, you get a hitter aggressively going after it, and he wants to get in the column. He does not want to wait around. He's not a big home run hitter, but likes to get in the column as quickly as possible. 2-1 fastball leading off a game is a good way to do it.
When dribbled foul down toward the far end of the Dodgers dugout. Past the dugout.
You see there 2-0 count, fastball count. You throw a little wrinkle in there, you're going to get a good read on the swing there. Taylor's letting you know he's going to be aggressive in these fastball counts, in these hitters counts. So it might be time for Manaea and Luke to flip the script and start going backwards.
That one on the inside corner. Good pitch there. 2-2 the count.
Well, you just watch Taylor. He's looking fastball every pitch, which most hitters do, but out on the front foot on the slider that he just got 2-1. Different pitch on the same count. 2-1 fastball, 2-1 slider.
Strike 3 called right there, and Taylor knew it. So third strikeout from Minaya, and we are on to the third. Smolinski to lead it off. 2-0 Dodgers. Most memorable moments in Oakland history. Now we want the fans to pick the most memorable moment. It's a season-long promotion that runs through the end of September. Tonight it's the 2013 Brandon Moss 2-run walk-off home run in the 19th inning. We were there. We remember that. We were sleepy, but we were there. It's going to go up against Reggie Jackson's Titanic home run in the 1971 All-Star game in Detroit against Doc Ellis. He gone.
And the camera can't follow it. Higher, higher, higher. It's way up higher than that. The referee shows scoring.
So the fans are going to vote through our A's Twitter poll. Play that win. The play that wins advances to face the next memorable moment. So it'll be kind of fun all the way through September. We're checking things out. It's the shift on for Jake Smolinski. See Kiki Hernandez moving around a little bit.
I like that.
Still basically playing behind second base.
But, you know, Cop, I like that shift description because as Kiki moves, so does the shift.
Yes, it
does.
does.
The box moves with it. It's pretty good.
High fastball, swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 4 for Ryu. So looks like he's pretty sharp tonight.
They talk about mixing it up. Boss, you mentioned obviously the numbers reflect this guy is going to throw anything at any time. Roughly around 36% chance you're going to get something off speed first pitch, a little bit of a backwards approach, run the heater up there late.
It went on. He's got good stuff. Ryu, remember he signed a 6-year contract. And this is the final year of that contract. So he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. He's 31 years old. When healthy, he's pretty good. But he has not been healthy for about half of that contract. He's a big fella, 6'3", 250 pounds from South Korea.
Well, if he goes to Yankees, he can't wear 99.
He cannot.
Here come the Judge who's wearing 99, so you have to change numbers. You figure you wear 99, nobody else is going to be wearing it.
You wouldn't think so.
Except for the Yankees when they retire all the numbers.
Well, that's why Judge probably
that's
figured.
Right.
Not going to get a single digit. A little emergency swing by Sean Manaea.
Make him work, Sean. Joe, you threw 7 pitches to him, but see, he's a right-handed batter, left-handed pitcher. See the elbow guard? That's smart. Try to protect the elbow. See if the mustache is going to scare you. Doubt it.
Well, there's a checklist for pitchers. Dallas, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're going up there like Manaea, where you don't really hit but maybe a couple times a year. A, don't embarrass yourself.
Correct.
B, try to make contact, foul a ball off.
Sure.
C, try to hit a ball fair if you can.
Yeah.
And just by the stroke of luck, maybe you reach first base.
Yeah, I agree
Right?
with.
So he's okay right now. He's fouled 3 balls off.
Started 0-2.
He hasn't embarrassed himself.
No.
Whose bat's he using?
Make the pitcher work.
Whose bat's he using? You don't want to break somebody else's bat.
See, there you go.
Slow down. Walk to first. Attaboy.
See, he did a good job. He checked all the boxes off.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that normally, Kai, but just probably in reverse. So for a guy like me, I'm walking up there, it's liftoff time. And if I can't go deep, then I'm going to need to foul some stuff off. And if I can't foul some stuff off, I'm going to have to hang in there and not embarrass myself ultimately. So that's how I work.
So not embarrassing yourself was down the list. You were like, I'm going to swing really hard, and if I fall over and miss, that's okay because hey, you were going launching.
That's right. We got 2 more strikes in this thing, right?
But you know the biggest difference in a National League pitcher hitting and an American League pitcher hitting in a National League park during, well, I don't know any of the players have ever experienced prior to the DH. But you notice in the A's dugout, the pitcher's kind of chuckling a little bit. It becomes almost, hey, made contact.
Right.
In the National League, it's serious business because
it's part of their game.
It's part of their game, exactly, because they know, Kershaw's good. You know, one of the best on the A's in the 70s, John Blue Moon Odom. You know, I got that out of the way early.
Is he here?
He's listening, I'm sure. But no, the A's had some good hitting pitching. Of course, that was before the DH came into play, and it made a huge difference.
I think pitchers in the National League become very aware of how them hitting, whatever they may do, can really help them.
Absolutely.
Well, you understand you're no longer just an out in the National League.
No.
Sure, you're somebody who's being sized up as an out, but you can impact this game. You get the bunt down, and those guys now are able to move from first to second to third with less than 2 outs, and it's because of you executing. That's a huge difference.
Well, it also means that you're helping yourself as a pitcher if you can score runs, help your club score runs, because you ultimately are the beneficiary of all that in what you're able to do swinging the bat. Now here's something else for an American League. The batter following after Sean and I ran to first, you can't swing at the first pitch. You try to take as many as possible to let him rest. Kenny Holtzman was very good.
1974 World Series at the Coliseum. That's our good friend Kenny Holtzman.
Who needs a designated hitter? Holtzman has 4 World Series hits in 2 years, and they're all for extra base.
Andy Messersmith.
And Simeon strikes out. Another good inning for you as he has retired 8 in a row. 5 on strikeouts. 2-0 Dodgers. Your program is upon us, recognizing teachers that make a difference. Visit NBCSportsCalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. Seager, Puig, and Hernandez here in the bottom of the third. Seager homered in the first. Dodger history, first two batters both hitting home runs. Saw it tonight. Taylor and Turner did it last year. Goodwin and Grudzolanek. That one is sliced toward left. Davis hustling over, and Chris Davis makes the catch.
Think they didn't want to play him opposite field? Normally that's a double. Chris Davis playing him like a right-handed pull hitter, and this is after Seager had hit a home run into the right field bleachers. And Chris played it nicely, got to the ball, and remember, with no DH, of course, a couple of lefties in this series. Wood tomorrow night scheduled a pitch. That means Matt Joyce may not play. He being a lefty, and Chris Davis playing left field. Matt Joyce had a good series in Anaheim. He's healthy, and I'll tell you, if he doesn't play, because he come off the bench as a pinch hitter, and if you're trailing in the National League Park, that means when the pitcher's at bat comes up, he can be pinch hit for.
And has to hurry to get the speedy Puig. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. That'll bring up Kiki Hernandez.
That means that could be our first look at Trace Thompson.
That's true.
That'd be interesting, facing his former roommate, Alex Wood.
First pitch to Hernandez is a little bit low. Hernandez just swing. You watch Chris Taylor swing. You watch Bellinger swing. Seager. I mean, if they are not the launch angle, let it rip.
That's right.
What baseball is all about in 2018.
There are bad intentions.
Yeah. Up the middle, and that's going to get through for a hit. 2-out single for Hernandez.
Number 27, Matt Kemp.
Well, last year the Dodgers, as we take a look at the pitch from Hernandez.
It was a single, hit hard back up the middle, and Sean Manaea with a backdoor off-speed pitch does a good job. But you know, the one thing about Sean Manaea in his 2 previous starts, and he's doing it again tonight, as we have noted, Kipe, he is not throwing a lot of pitches per batter. He's not getting a lot of strikeouts. Had 11 in his first 2 starts and a total of 15 2/3 innings, but you know, by and large, he's getting quick results, whether it be putting the ball in play, strikeouts. And if he gets 0-2, he's not wasting a pitch. He's going right at him.
Well, I think that's a sign of maturity. And I mentioned the conversation I had with Sandy Koufax here at Dodger Stadium last year at Fox. That was one of the things I asked him, is a couple things, Mr. Koufax. Why are we not seeing guys get deeper into ball games, and why is the pace of the game the way it is? And he said, Mr. Braden, I feel like it's because when we've got 2 strikes on guys, we just don't see that killer mentality. We don't see guys go for the knockout. And frankly, if we saw that, I think we'd see more action. I think the game would pick up. So that was for me, that was tremendous insight from a man who obviously knows what he's talking about on the mound.
Yeah, he wasn't wasting any pitches.
Oh, no.
Koufax.
Especially with Uncle Charlie. But I have to ask a question, Kipe, and I know you have to be thinking about this as well. Can understand Dallas calling Sandy Koufax Mr. Koufax. Can you imagine Sandy Koufax calling Dallas Braden Mr. Braden?
Yeah, no, that was yeah, for me, very, very, very weird.
From one left-hander to another.
Yeah, well, Sandy Koufax.
Lead by Hernandez.
I think he was messing with me.
So that ball pops away from Luke Roy.
See, that's something Luke does not like, for a runner to advance, especially now this is 2 outs and you get a base hit. Now ball in the dirt, not that far away, but with 2 outs, Kiki Hernandez going to second base. There's the block. Couldn't find it initially, but if you get a secondary lead, you can get into scoring position, and that's exactly what happened with Hernandez. And all of a sudden, this 2-2 pitch to Kemp becomes very big to try to keep a run from scoring.
Kemp hits one high and foul down the right field line. Kemp doubled over Piscotty's head in right field in the first inning.
Then what Dallas talking about with Sandy Koufax, first 2 batters, 5 pitches. Now all of a sudden he's got a runner in scoring position, 2-2 count on this hitter, and all of a sudden from a not so stressful inning to a stressful inning to try to keep another run from scoring. You're already down by 2, and with his pitch count getting up, maybe seeing a pinch hitter with his plate appearance coming up sooner than later. That's a swing.
Kemp went around, so that's the strikeout. Hernandez is stranded at second base. 4th strikeout for Sean Manaea. Lot to say, maybe nothing to say.
Get up to 30% off appliances and up to 50% off mattresses.
Top of the 4th inning, Matt Chapman leading it off. First pitch to Chapman was a ball. Lowry and Davis to follow. Jin Ryu has been good so far. 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. A's do not have a hit.
Well, the nice thing about Sean Manaea, after the ambush of the first 2 hitters, put him behind 2-0, he has also settled down. So what has now become a pitcher's duel. When you go back to Sunday's game against Ohtani of the Angels, the A's were perfect. No hits for 6 1/3 before Marcus Semien got the base hit. Matt Joyce would hit a home run, but only 3 hits in that game. We're talking about the Dodgers not hitting and scoring runs. Well, the A's also having a tough time.
2-2 the count to Chapman, who walked in the first. He is the only base runner the A's have had.
Well, sometimes, Cap, after an off day, you're just not as sharp, especially as a hitter. Timing's off a little bit. It's always good to have an off day, but after 11 consecutive games early in the season, maybe not what you really want. You want to just kind of get in the swing of things.
Yeah, I would say A's are probably lucky starting the season with 11 straight. I mean, a lot of teams, you know, rainouts and that thing, but just a lot of days off early for some of these teams. With the A's, 11 straight, no rainouts. Weather was not an issue.
Weather's been great all throughout the beginning of the season for the Athletics, unlike snow back in Chicago and games being postponed.
And I'll tell you, as a player, I mean, obviously I'm a pitcher, so a little different than a guy like Foss, who's answering the bell every single day, day in and day out. But early on, I'd like to really get, as you mentioned, get into that groove, get your routine established, and then as the off days come, you start to take them and you figure out what needs to be done during that off day. But initially, I think it really benefits players being able to consistently get your swings in, get your routine underneath you, figure out how to show up to the ballpark.
Well, I thought it was interesting that during spring training camp, the one thing, Kendall Graveman, there was a Friday off. He pitched Saturday, and he said, I'm going to try not to throw on Friday to see how I feel because there are more off days this year.
Yeah.
He was terrible. He said a release point was off, and he said, I can't do it. I've got to throw. And so he did that before the first game of the season, which he started against the Angels.
And you try to, as a coaching staff, you try to plan things out the first couple weeks. Who's pitching? So you just hope that you don't have rainouts and a lot of off days where the Dodgers had a kind of a weird week, and they were having trouble who's going to pitch when, where. Last week they were swept in Arizona Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The Monday game was 15 innings. Well, that already, you get a 15-inning game, that already screws you up a little bit.
But how
then they had an off day on Thursday. They had a rain out on Friday. They played 14 innings on Saturday.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
10 innings Sunday, off day yesterday. So Rick Cunningham was in. Our pitching is a little up in the air right now. Who's going to go when and where? Because Kershaw's going to stay on schedule. He's going to pitch every 5th day. And so you have that, and then you have all these. We're going to rain out a couple off days, a couple of extra inning games, and now you're sliding people all over the place.
Yeah, Alex Wood had food poisoning, had to bump him back. So.
Yeah, he said one of the extra inning games, 24 players are used. And mentioned Alex Wood, who was back at the hotel. Dallas mentioned was the sickness, but yeah, it makes it tough. But I still say if you can play, like the A's played 11 straight, but an off day yesterday, off day Thursday, off day next Thursday. After playing consistently and really starting in Anaheim after playing the first 8 games, they started swinging the bat better.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here comes an off day, and there's no doubt that Darren Bush knows as a hitting coach. Everybody knows the game is about timing, and you miss your timing just a little bit. I think it becomes more advantageous for a pitcher if an off day occurs because the hitters lose their timing a little bit.
So Chris Davis strikes out looking for the second time, and that's another 3-up, 3-down inning for Ryu. 2-0 Dodgers.
Dodger Stadium, game 1 of 2. Sonny Gray pitches, 3-hit shutout. A's won it 2-0, 110 pitches, 9 strikeouts, and just 1 walk for Sonny Gray. That was a great outing by Sonny Gray, and that was 2000. Who's that? Billy Burns in 2015. Josh Fegley, the catcher. Billy Burns. Kansas City let him go. Huh?
Yep. So bottom of the 4th, Bellinger, Forsythe, and Barnes, 6, 7, and 8 in the Dodgers lineup. Bellinger struck out looking. That one's hit hard right to Olsen, who scoops it up. Well, the A's have played well against the Dodgers in interleague play. The A's record against LA, 19-10 overall. That includes, listen to this rate, the A's are 14-2 against the Dodgers in Oakland.
That's amazing.
14-2. Dodgers will be at the Coliseum August 7th and 8th, 2-game series.
Well, you count 3 in a row in the 1974 World Series.
That is not included in that, which it should be.
3, 4, and 5.
It should be.
We didn't want to come back to LA, man. Let's just get it over with. After all, Charlie Finley told us before Game 5, after a win tonight, parade downtown to Oakland. What? It's not even over, but it was over. Thanks to Billy Buckner's daring attempt to go to third. That is interesting, Captain Reggie Jackson. I've always thought that one of the greatest hitters, Mr. October, put a bat in his hand when something's on the line. He thought the play against the Dodgers in the World Series Game 5 was his highlight of his career. A defensive play that he started.
These two teams, both lots of history. They've met in the World Series twice. Of course, 74, as Ray said, the A's won it in 5. Split 2 here and then went back to Oakland and won 3 straight. Raleigh Fingers was the MVP. And then, of course, 1988, the Dodgers beat a heavily favored A's team in 5. And Oral Hershiser, I don't want to say it was a one-man show because that wouldn't be fair to the other guys, but
it was.
He kind of carried them. Of course, they got the magic in Game 1, but
well, that was the key, because if the A's had won, there's Oral Hershiser, one of the, along with Nomar Garciaparra, does some broadcasting, but Cy Young, he broke Don Drysdale consecutive scoreless inning streak in that same year. So yes, he was hot. And when the A's lost Game 1, knowing they had to face the Bulldog in Game 2.
But he did not pitch Game 1.
No, he did not start. He got him to the World Series. Canseco hit the camera in center field, a grand slam. And of course it was the Gibson walk-off. But they won Game 2. The A's did win 1 with a walk-off by Mark McGuire. But bottom line, it was all Dodgers. That seat, we showed Eckersley and Gibson, the two gentlemen wearing the jerseys. There's a seat out there where Gibson's home run landed. The Dodgers have designated that seat this year, all 81 home games. They'll sell it for $150. $50 for the seat, $100 to the Parkinson's Foundation. And here it is. This is a backdoor slider. Kirk Gibson, who could barely walk out to home plate and find out where it landed, and that's where the seat is. And Tommy Lasorda.
Up the middle. So Austin Barnes has a base hit.
That's Mike Gallego's nephew.
Is it really?
Austin Barnes.
I didn't know that.
It's Mike, I saw Gags and watched him play last year in World Series, and I saw Gags at the 50th anniversary. You know what first thing he said? I'm taller than him.
Well, let's not get crazy, Gags.
Yeah, there it is. There's the seat. Thank you, Delaire. That's Kirk Gibson signed the seat, and all fans of, well, 81 games, $100 will be donated to the Parkinson's Foundation on behalf of Kirk Gibson. So that's a nice gesture.
And Ryu gets a base hit. And that gets the crowd going a little bit.
Well, a walk and a base hit. And again, he got a fastball first pitch. He wasn't waiting around this time. And I don't think running the base is going to affect him. But there's the fastball. Actually, Manai got a first pitch fastball, so he reciprocated with the one himself. But this time, Ryu, who's a little bit better hitter probably than Sean Manaea, drove a base hit to left field.
Well, Foss, what this has also done is obviously it's flipped the lineup over. You're not ending the inning on the pitcher. You've got a contact guy at the dish right now, runners in scoring position. Why it's very, very important to attack that pitcher.
Absolutely.
So here's Taylor, a strikeout and a home run so far. Well, we touched on this last inning a little bit about the pitcher spot. And obviously it's an out you should get as a pitcher. But I'm telling you, if something positive happens with the offensive team out of the ninth spot with a pitcher, it can change the whole game.
Well,
We've seen it.
You've brought it up, and I agree with you about the bottom third in the American League with the DH. Now you multiply that by a starting pitcher who has to hit in the National League Park, and they get on base. Absolutely.
Plus, I think I mean, in Dallas, if you are a pitcher and you give up a hit to the other pitcher, well, now it starts to mess with your head a little bit.
Well, you think about an energy bar, right? And it represents how much fuel you have in the tank. When that pitcher is able to get one off on you, that energy bar it dwindles just that much more.
This one flared down the right field line, foul.
And like Dallas said too, you start flipping the lineup over. You got somebody at the top of the order with a couple of runners in scoring position. You get Barnes hitting a 1-2 pitch for a base hit, so could have gotten him out of the way early, have Ryu lead off, but instead Barnes gets the base hit.
It's just an out you really should get, and then if you don't get it.
But I think tonight what Sean Manaea has done is pitch him like he's a pitcher versus pitching him like a hitter. And I think you have to do that in a National League Park.
So 2-2 the count to Chris Taylor. Taylor last year hit 21 home runs.
He represented that power production from the top of the lineup, and you backed him up with the likes of a Seager or a Puig or a Bellinger.
Not too shabby. Rolls this one foul.
Well, Cap, to your point about the launch angle swings, you combine the home runs, the most last year of any year, and then the most strikeouts of any league. You know, I mean, so you have a combination of 2 strikes, forget it. There's nobody shortening up to try to get a base hit.
No.
It's swing hard, and with the launch angle, trying to do something instead of right here trying to get a base hit. Maybe that's something Taylor's trying to do. Jonathan Lucroy and Sean Manaea trying to get back in the dugout at the 3rd out of the inning.
Chapman comes in. He's got it. Fires across to get Chris Taylor, and a couple of runners stranded for the Dodgers. We played 4 at Dodger Stadium. 2-0 LA.
Successful movies in cinematics history. It's called Black Panther. Oakland A's and Marvel are proud to release a glow-in-the-dark Black Panther bobblehead in honor of the city of Oakland and hometown hero and director Ryan Coogler. Fans can snag the one-of-a-kind bobblehead on Saturday, May the 5th. That's against the Baltimore Orioles, brought to you by Comerica Bank. Be one of 15,000 fans. Get yours upon entering the ballpark. Visit athletics.com/promotions. Grab your piece of Oakland history. A's still looking for the first hit, partner. It's not good.
Ryu with 6 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Good thing for Sean Manai is keeping it 2-0 if the A's offense can come around.
Olsen, Lucroy, Piscotty. First pitch, strike on the outside corner. Olsen was caught looking. Of the 6 strikeouts, 4 have been looking. That was not the case on Sunday against Ohtani.
That's right.
Swings and misses against Ohtani.
So you got third base and Forsythe at the second baseman spot. Corey Seager, the shortstop, remaining in his normal position. Each infielder with a blue circle under them that moves around.
That one misses down and away.
Well, we mentioned the reverse split action for Ryu. Lefties hitting 289 against Ryu as opposed to righties hitting 248. So this was a matchup I was interested in coming into tonight.
Barnes hustling after the block ball, thinking there's going to be a check swing. He appealed to the third base umpire, and that's the reason he hustled the way he did after the what he thought was strike 3 on the check swing.
Ryu kicks and delivers. That one came in on Olsen and he rolls it foul.
So Barnes going to throw about 3 signs. So here's a case of Barnes putting the signs down and Ryu deciding what he wants to throw. Took off the curveball to throw the fastball.
And you know what? He made a good pitch. He got it in on Olsen. So 1 away.
It amazes me why, in the case of just watching that sequence, to see Ryu shake off the last 2 pitches, but you know, these guys have a in-depth scouting report meeting before they pitch. And it sometimes surprises me why they're not on the same page.
Yeah,
you know, considering how much they go over every hitter. Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach of the Dodgers, will talk to the pitcher and the catcher on the particular evening. Usually both catchers are involved in the meeting with the starting pitcher.
First pitch to Lucroy's in first time.
No, you make a point about all of the information out there, and I normally would 100% agree. You've got to be on the same page. I think at times, though, the way the game is evolving and the way that the shift is deployed at times, there is a certain point in time in the game where you've got to start reading a swing or reading an approach, and maybe it is a matter of trying to change things, as we talked about, going backwards from Anaya. You see guys are being aggressive early with the fastball. So it's obviously great to be on the same page. I think that sometimes the game can change things for you, and that's where you have to be astute.
But who reads the swing, pitcher or catcher?
Well, hopefully both, in my opinion.
Right.
Hopefully both.
And that's what brings me to the point of, if they're both reading the swings,
yes,
then they should be on the same page.
Well, yes. How about this? He's retired 12 in a row.
Yeah, well, that's right. So call your own game.
So I think he's doing okay.
No, you're right. So that's what, remember, Don Sutton used to call his own game. He had a sign in which he would basically give the sign to the catcher.
Seager surrounds it, flips it across, and that's the second out. 13 in a row retired by Ryu. That coming after the 1-out walk in the very first inning.
On a 3-2 changeup.
Yep. So here's Piscotty.
You know, the sad thing, there's Don Sutton, the number 20. But the sad thing is that you start thinking about getting a hit. As in the case with Ohtani pitching, they were down 6-0 before the perfect game ended. Yeah. They got a hit and then another hit, and then Joyce hit a home run off with Pena in the 9th inning to avoid being shut out. But you know, you don't want to get to the point where you're just saying, oh, I don't want to. There's their first hit.
And that is going to be a hit. Yeah. Piscotty gets one past a diving Hernandez. So the first hit comes with 2 outs in the 5th inning for the A's.
Breaking ball, Piscotty stayed back on the curveball and hit it back up the middle. See the shift with the second baseman near second. Kiki Hernandez diving for the ball, and Piscotty runs too well to have thrown him out anyway. So that's the first hit. Now they can forget about trying to get a hit. Now score some runs.
Here's Smolinski.
And is the bullpen active for the Athletics, because Sean Manaea's spot is due up next, and Liam Hendricks is loose, and that's the National League Park because the DH is not used. The pitcher is, and should Smolensky reach base, I would think there's going to be a pinch hitter, because already Sean's at 774 pitches that I've got. So you'd think that regardless of what happens, if he doesn't hit, then somebody would pinch hit for him in the 6th. So it'd be nice for Smolensky to get on base and Melvin to make the decision what he wants to do.
Good changeup, 81 miles an hour, and the count 1-2. Smolensky struck out swinging in the 3rd.
Jake Smolensky knows he's getting a golden opportunity with the unfortunate injury to Boog Powell, put him on the disabled list, and Trace Thompson has joined the club. They're basically 4 outfielders right now.
Right center, a little flare, and Hernandez caught it. Terrific play by Kiki Hernandez. And the A's do not score. They get a hit, they strand a runner. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It'll be Seager, Puig, and Hernandez. Dodgers still leading this one 2-0. Network. Then on Thursday at 7 p.m. it's game 1 of the Sharks and the rival Ducks. That'll be on NBC Sports California. There's nothing like Sharks playoff hockey, and this is where it is, folks. Games 1 and 2 Thursday, Saturday in Anaheim, and they come back on Monday for game 3 in San Jose. So that is the full schedule for that first round matchup between the Sharks and the Ducks. So good luck to the Sharks. Shift was on. As you see Simeon playing right behind second base. He takes care of Seager.
Right fielder.
We're going to take a look at StatCast here on that circus catch made by Kiki Hernandez. You see where he starts out at just above second base. Distance covered 82 feet, almost 23 miles an hour top speed if you round up it is. Kiki, athlete. Guys, he's been a big part of what they've been able to do as far as his versatility is concerned. Some outfield, some infield, all over the place. Another plug and play guy for Dave Roberts.
And he stands in the on deck circle. 0-1 to Puig. Puig has grounded out twice to short. A little bit of a slow start for Puig. Coming off a season where he really kind of finally put it all together. 28 home runs and 74 RBIs last year.
He's got to start kissing his bat again.
Yeah.
Hugging his bat, kissing his bat.
Started to. You saw some of the mental mistakes that he was making. He cut down on those.
And that's what I think it is. I think it's a sign of maturity that we're starting to see out of Yasiel Puig. An understanding of what role he can serve when he's on the field, what he can do if he's healthy, what he can do if his head's in the game. He can be a star.
Well, he's on the trading block for the last couple of years. It seemed that. Yeah, no, it's they thought about, but decided not to.
And he's still a very young player. He's 27 years old. He'll be a free agent after next year. So the Dodgers have him for 2 more years. So he has a chance to maybe get a big contract.
In the offseason, that a lot of times players will change agencies. And agencies said, "Hey, we don't want you anymore." They let him go, which is a little bit different.
I'll tell you what, you watch Kiki Hernandez here in the on-deck circle. I got a good shot at it. When we talk about launch angle, gives you an idea of what his game plan is.
Lowry has it just tip off his glove. It was going to be a hit no matter what. Puig's going to try for second. Lowry's throw is in time, and they got him. The ball trickled away from Lowry. Puig read it, and he took off, and he forced Lowry to make a good throw to second base.
You know, I think the crowd helped Lowry because I don't know that Jed reacted. He knocked the ball down, probably assuming right here it's a base hit, and didn't get it, and just kind of backpedaling, thinking a single. And then the crowd started to react to the hustle of Yasiel Puig. And once that happened, and Jed all of a sudden picked it up, and he made the good throw to second. But if the crowd had did nothing, if there'd been 900 like in Chicago, they would have known. But I agree with you, Kai, because all of a sudden Jed had to make the good, perfect throw and a hard slide by Puig going into second, and the tag and the follow through. And Simeon, of course, they wanted to make sure he held on to the ball.
And you know what? I think that's a good play by Puig.
I agree. That's a hustle play. But see, Lowry started backpedaling right there. He doesn't know it, and all of a sudden he hears it and wonders what's going on, and there comes Puig barreling around. But you know, Puig didn't really turn it on until he rounded first, and it's one of those, if he'd run hard to first and then rounded, maybe it'd have been a different story. But bottom line, good reaction by Jed and good throw to his shortstop, and ended up getting the out.
So it is a hit for Puig. So 1-2 the count to Kiki Hernandez, a strikeout and a single for Hernandez. And off speed swing and a miss. So that is strikeout number 5 for Manai. He is settled in. 6th inning coming up. spot in the batting order is up.
Welcome
But
to
it's
the
going to be
National
Trace Thompson. But when that, as Thompson waits to hit, going out to check on Ryu. So that's Rick Honeycutt. So that's interesting. So you're thinking it was an injury, but it's not an injury because it's Rick Honeycutt.
Right, right. And the interpreter for Ryu, that Rick Honeycutt, as he was talking, the interpreter was telling Ryu, and maybe to go over Trace Thompson. Well, good outing for Sean Manaea, the first 2 batters, and they ambushed him. Solo home runs, so he'll go 5-7. And 5 strikeouts, so we welcome Trace Thompson, his first at bat as a member of the Athletics, back in the area, the team that originally had it, or at least a team where he played and had success.
So the first pitch to Thompson is a bit outside. They have a full shift on for Trace Thompson. Injuries have slowed down the career of Trace Thompson the last couple of years. He's in the Dodger media guide. How about that? 1-2 now. These are his career numbers. 19 home runs, 50 RBIs.
He and Marcus Semien were together at the White Sox organization, and Trace to the Dodgers and Marcus to the A's.
Thompson, 27 years old, 6'3", not quite as tall as his brother. Looks like him though.
You remember when he came over here to LA in that trade from Chicago, he was a part of that thick outfield situation they had going on. Guy they really felt they could potentially lean on. Came over, hit 295 in 2015, limited plate appearances.
It's a good changeup. So Ryu picks up his 7th strikeout.
And that was exactly, matter of fact, reading the lips of Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, I saw him say change up, and maybe that's what he was saying, throw a lot of them, because the swing and misses as he kept looking fastball, which he should, and 3-2 got a change up.
So now to the top of the order, Marcus Semien. First pitch in for a strike. Semien a fly ball to left and a strikeout. The Mariners beat the Royals tonight 8-3. Felix Hernandez got his 2nd win.
The Mariners were almost no hit last night.
Well, the Mariners now 5-4 on the year. A's will be in Seattle this weekend.
So if this is Tuesday, and even with off days, that means King Felix will pitch Sunday.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to miss him in his turn, especially against the A's, where he's had a lot of success.
The Mariners put Ryan Healy on the disabled list. Sprained his ankle. So they will not see him, but it sounds like Nelson Cruz should be back from the disabled list this weekend, and also Ben Gamble, who's been out since spring training. They expect him to come back as well. So,
but how do you injure your ankle going to the disabled list working out after a game? That's what happened to Ryan Healy. I mean, that's just not good. I mean, think of some other way or reason that happened, not working out. But there are some strange injuries that put guys on the DL. It's not a fastball, Marcus.
Got him swinging. 8 strikeouts. So 2 away, and here's Matt Chapman.
We're just having a tough time picking Ryu up, especially late in the count here. It looks like there was a slight wrinkle in it. We talked about Ryu and his ability to try to cut and backdoor that slider to the righties. Does so there, just enough to come back and garner the swing from Semien.
He probably didn't break inside where Barnes wanted it, calling the slider, but ended up working out well. Good velocity on it.
Chapman a walk and a pop out to second. He had a good swing there on a fastball at 91 miles an hour. But when you're struggling offensively as a group, you foul those pitches back. Always seem to be like behind in the count. So 0-2 to Chapman. This will be pitch number 90 for Ryu, so he's probably about done. Popped up. Looks like Barnes will have a play. The catcher waits, and he's got it. 3 up, 3 down inning for Wonjin Ryu. He's been good so far. 2-0 Dodgers.
Is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
Two nothing Dodgers, bottom of the 6th inning. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and brake expert. So to the bullpen, it's Liam Hendriks for his 5th appearance. Hendriks last pitched on Sunday, 2/3 of an inning in Anaheim. He'll face Kemp, Bellinger, Forsythe. Speaking of the Angels, they won again, 11-1 over the Texas Rangers.
And now every time they talk about the Angels, they say, well, Ohtani didn't play, but they won anyway. They're a good ball club, with or without him. And he's scheduled to pitch Sunday in Kansas City, so if that's the case, he's their Sunday pitcher. And to go on a 6-man rotation with off days, that would turn out to be that way at least at the beginning of the season.
Pretty well hit, right center. Spalitsky up against the wall. It hits the top of the wall, bounces into the seats, and that's a home run. Right at the top of the wall. You could see it hit the top of the padding, and then it bounced into the bleachers.
And if Jake Smolinski had gone back and jumped straight up, Liam Hendriks, I think, thought he'd given it up, but Jake went back, and really the wall stopped it. As he jumps, watch what happens. See, and it just, you go back and then jump straight up and try to get to the wall, and he probably could have caught it if it'd gone to the wall and gone straight up. And that's the difference sometimes in the outfield with a ball that does not look like it's going and you don't get to the wall and you think you have a chance and all of a sudden it takes off.
So Kemp hits his first home run.
And the most impressive part about that was the swing from Matt Kemp. Take a look at where this pitch is. This is down and in, and he inside outs this pitch, inner third, inside outs this pitch to right center.
That's a Chris Davis type swing. KD is swinging the bat well. That's the type of pitch that he will go opposite field. There's Rich Hill, former Athletic. Right there. He's sitting down. He will not pitch in this series. Second year with the Dodgers. Second full year.
That home run by Matt Kemp, career home run number 260. 260. Not close. 3-1 to Bellinger, who has struck out and grounded out.
The Dodgers don't have a hit with runners in scoring position, but they're leading 3-0.
Using that long ball.
Exactly.
Right at the knees, and it's 3-2. Now in that Angels game, Trout homered and Simmons homered, and Tyler Skaggs got the win. So the Angels have won 6 out of their last 7, and they are now 9-3. There's a line drive to right and a hit. Bellinger beat the shift.
Well, we're going to take a look at StatCast here. Give us some numbers on that last home run by Matt Kemp. We talked about him inside out. We know about the optimum launch angle, anywhere from 19 to 39 degrees. This way, near that upper echelon, 35 degrees. And not that far out, Foss, as you said. Maybe Smo is able to get back to the wall, jump vertically instead of into the wall, might have a shot. Tough nonetheless, though.
Here's Logan Forsythe. So a homer and a single here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Well, all night long it's been hitters count for the hitters, and the A's have thrown fastballs. Manaea twice, Hendrick twice, or Liam Hendricks twice with the home run and now the base hit.
Forsythe has grounded out and popped out. Missed again, 2-0. Red Sox beat the Yankees 14-1 at Fenway. 14-1. First meeting of the year between those two teams. So the Red Sox are 9-1.
That's after the Red Sox scored a 6 in the 8th inning yesterday.
Yep. Mookie Betts was 4 for 4 today. Giancarlo Stanton had a couple hits for the Yankees, struck out a couple of times. He has struck out 22 times in the Yankees' first 11 games.
10 of those in 2 games.
You hate to see that.
Yeah. Right there, first strike, so 3-1. Well, the Red Sox are rolling early. So are the Blue Jays. They beat Baltimore 2-1. Aaron Sanchez, 7 no-hit innings.
That's a starting staff you don't want to sleep on up there, up north in the 6, as they say.
Yeah, don't forget about Toronto. I agree.
Estrada, AJ Happ.
You go those two, and then you go Sanchez and Stroman. That's not bad. So the Blue Jays 8-4. Runner goes, and the pitch is hit hard but foul. So Bellinger, got those young legs. Runs pretty well. Cody Bellinger. His dad, Clay Bellinger. Pitcher, right?
Yes, he was.
With the Yankees.
Pitched to him in the home run derby last year. And Cody Bellinger is the reason the Agon is with the Mets. Because Agon, he gone.
Yeah, that's true. That one is fair. And running on the play was Bellinger again. He's going to round third. Davis picks it up. Davis's throw to the plate is cut off. And Bellinger scores all the way from first, and now it's 4-0. The ball was hit hard, but it was not fair by a lot.
Well, just inside the line, and that's predictability on the fastball. And even Matt Chapman could not get to it. The ball came off the sidewall rather quickly, and in fact, there might be a play at the plate. You're right, Kite. Bellinger on the move once he saw the ball on the ground, and big turn around second base, going to score easily as the throw did come in.
So Chris Woodward, the third base coach, he waited and waited, and then he realized that, you know, Bellinger's got good speed. Davis does not have a great arm, and he kept waving him. So still nobody out. A homer, a single, and a double. And Austin Barnes takes a ball.
So Zangrani warming up the bullpen, and watching Matt Olson at first base as he is playing even with the bag would indicate a bump because there's a pinch hit in the on deck circle.
Now it's 2-0. So a struggle for Liam Hendriks right now. He's falling behind the hitters.
And that's really been the name of the game all night, trying to get ahead of guys. Often as a pitcher, finding yourself in that fastball count, having to make a pitch in order to get back into the count. The aggressiveness of the Dodgers hasn't really lent itself to that.
Jock Peterson in the on-deck circle, and perhaps that's a reason Olson was playing even with the bag, thinking that Barnes might be bunting, trying to move the runner to third base.
2-0 pitch is in first time. So Peterson will hit for Ryu. Pretty good outing for Ryu. Missed again. Now it's 3-1.
Well, again, the tough part about falling behind, especially as a guy coming into the game later, if you're not able to establish your ability to throw strikes very quickly, hitters will start to eliminate pitches, start to zone up that fastball, look one pitch, one location. Not a good feeling.
93 miles an hour. Barnes may have gone after a pitch that was a little bit high.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about, Kite. You see the straight one, you become aggressive. You might even start to expand your zone a little.
Foul back. So 10 hits now for the Dodgers. A's have just 1.
Well, look at these the numbers, and Barnes wearing 15, of course, Davey Lopes. And we mentioned Mike Scioscia 14 with Kiki Hernandez, also Taylor in center, number 3. The great Willie Davis, probably the best going home to third of anybody. It's a tremendous speed. Willie Davis.
And missed outside. Hendriks has faced 4 hitters. They've all reached.
Hitting for the Dodgers, number 31.
Bob Melvin asking, is he going to pinch hit? And he is.
So Bob Melvin is coming out. So we got a pitching change here at Dodger Stadium. A couple of runs in for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the 6th, and they lead the A's 4-0.
for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV.
So Matt Kemp has homered in this inning. Dodgers have scored twice. They're looking for more. They're sending up the pinch hitter, Jock Peterson. So the A's counter with a lefty, Danny Coulombe. And if you're Bob Melvin, you just cannot let the deficit get any bigger.
Yeah. Because the lefty, we'll see if Jock Peterson, who has one of the biggest, longest swings in baseball, see if he squares around. Infield not expecting it. And maybe that will not be the case.
And the first pitch, maybe the one he should have swung. Right on the inside corner, first strike.
We talk a lot about relievers coming into the ballgame in this type of situation, spinning that breaking ball early for strikes here. I like that approach against Jock Peterson, a guy who typically is a guess hitter.
And that one missed badly inside. Jock Peterson from Palo Alto. 11th round pick of the Dodgers. That was back in 2010. First appeared in the big leagues in 2014. Full season 2015, he had 26 home runs. That was the year. Remember, he had a whole bunch before the All-Star break,
right.
And then he just couldn't get anything going after the All-Star break.
Well, definitely
he has struggled some since then.
Yeah, Kai, definitely a player who represents the era of the true three outcome to the fullest. It's going to be a homer, it's going to be a walker, it's going to be a punch out, and it's really not going to be anything else other than that.
It's like the smaller version of Joey Gallo.
Yeah, you're right.
A big type of swing and straight up defense. Slightly up the middle is Marcus Semien. Otherwise, everybody else kind of straight up.
And 2 pitches rolled foul. Last year, he hit just .212 with 11 home runs in 102 games. So I think there was a time where he was a cornerstone player for the Dodgers. Not anymore.
I don't think so. Yeah, there was some talk when the abundance of outfielders for the Dodgers, especially with Kemp coming back, that he might be sent to AAA.
Yep.
Instead, Trace Thompson was designated and then picked up by the Yankees and then ultimately the Athletics.
You know, too, it's interesting, Ray. He's only 25 years old.
I know, it's amazing.
And you wonder is he a change of scenery guy?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know if it's a change of scenery or in my opinion, a change of approach.
Yeah, there you
you
go.
know, that's
maybe a little of both. Huh?
Right.
Which may never occur.
Picked up by Lucroy. But there's some talent there. There's no question about that. So 2-2. The runner at second is Forsythe. Burns is at first. It has been a long half inning. That one bounced foul. Twins beat the Astros tonight, 4-1. Odorizzi got his first win for Minnesota. Keuchel took the loss.
Well, you mentioned earlier about the Angels winning. Angels one team in this division, and you know everybody's talking about the Astros, but the Angels definitely have improved in the start they have had so far in this 2018. One of the better starts for them in a long time. Maybe something for them to build on positively, and he's trying to get back to the 500 and take off from there.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Peterson can't believe that was called a strike. Off the outside corner.
Well, it's that curbside fastball, low paint, no parking. Sorry, Jock, gonna have to keep it moving. It's a good job of execution by Danny Coulombe. Understanding, again, we talked about it. Jock Peterson might be someone who's sitting soft, might be someone who's looking to guess on something, and the heater, freeze frame.
See, if you're a hitter and you have 2 strikes, you have to swing at that.
Anything close, yeah. You can't expect the umpire to help you on calling
and the
ball.
umpire needs to call that a strike.
Absolutely. Well, it was a strike. It was a strike. I mean, that box is perfectly set up.
Second for 1, on to first. Got him. Double play. Not an easy turn by the A's, and they pull it off. 6-4-3, side retired. 2 runs for the Dodgers as we head to the 7th inning. The Dodgers now leading it 4-0.
Well, the thing that happened on this play is Taylor's jumped at the bag as Jed Lowry knows that Taylor's quick down the line. See if he jumps. Whoa, airborne. Yeah, you go airborne, you're out.
Time for Change Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Tony Cingrani comes in. He's one of the 2 left-handers in that bullpen for the Dodgers. Cingrani takes over for Ryu.
Well, we saw him with the Cincinnati Reds before he was traded over here to the Dodgers. And Cingrani, as we saw, not really overpowering. Does have a mid-90s fastball, low to mid-90s, but also likes to throw the slider and the changeup.
I don't know this for a fact, Ray, but I want to say Tony Cingrani, when he was with the Reds, started a game against the A's. Is that possible?
I think you're right.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. He floundered back and forth between starting and bullpen as at times a lot of young guys do, trying to establish themselves. You become that guy who's the movable piece, the pawn. And he wasn't ever able to quite entrench himself. Some injury history as well. And that ultimately, I think, is what landed him in the bullpen. I feel like that arm and that stuff plays up better over the course of a shorter body of work.
Well, he can pitch a long time as a left-hander reliever. He's got pretty good stuff. Tony Cingrani.
And after all, he is left-handed and breathing.
That's right. Be a lefty with a heartbeat, you find yourself a job.
Yeah. He's 28 years old. Lives in San Francisco. How about that? Tony Cingrani. It was right at the trade deadline in 2017 that the Dodgers acquired him from the Reds for Andy Van Slyke. Scott Van Slyke, excuse me, Andy's son. Three and 2 to Jed Lowry. Davis will follow, and then Olsen here in the 7th inning. A's have not had much going offensively. In fact, they've really had nothing going offensively.
Well, maybe getting into the bullpen. Change it up a little bit.
Can't hurt.
No, because Ryu did a great job for 6 innings, just the 1 hit. In today's age, you try to say keep the starter in there because you don't want to get the bullpen. But if you're not hitting the starter, you you say let's change it somehow. Let's go.
Let's try something.
That's right.
Yeah, Ryu was good. Right to Seager, gets a good hop. Well, Lowry is retired. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from Ryu.
Smart play today brought to you by your California Ford dealers. Well, we just said maybe go soft to get him, but he was outstanding. 8 strikeouts as he kept pumping different types of pitches. Good curveball to Matt Olson. He got a high fastball to Jake Smolinski. Another high fastball to Marcus Semien. Low fastball to Chris Davis. So all these taking. And on Sunday with Ohtani, the swing miss on the splitter, but Dave Roberts, who is one manager who a lot of times will not let a pitcher go through the batting order the 3rd time. Well, he barely did it with Ryu, but pitch count got him more than anything.
Here's Chris Davis. Chris Davis had no luck against Ryu. Struck out twice looking. That's that one hard. Under Seager and into left field. That's a base hit. Seager, if he would have made that play, it would have been a terrific play. It was a very hard hit ball, so the A's have their 2nd hit.
Well, there's a slightly open stance and opening up, and very quick bat by. Look at your glove. If he had caught it, it might have taken him the outfield grass.
Yeah.
That's how hard it was hit.
More action. JT Chagua.
It's good, man.
Yeah, been practicing all afternoon. In the mirror.
Sean Manaea had his glove in front of the mirror, and you had the vocabulary.
That's it.
Pronunciation of the players' names.
I just go what the media guy says.
Well, the great Juan Dorado made a correction.
In the house.
Yeah, he's in the house. He's shaved. I actually saw his parents. So
Back home.
He had looked horrible on Sunday in Anaheim, but tonight he looks great. Found a razor. But reminded us after looking it up that Clay Bellinger was an infielder. His father of Cody was an infielder. For some reason, I had him as a pitcher.
I did too. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Clay.
Well, Clay, but yeah, he's an infielder. But I knew he threw his son a home run derby last year. That's why I kind of pictured him as a starter. So thank you, Juan. Shaven, clean shaven and all.
Juan Dorado, part of the media relations department for the Athletics.
Didn't you think on Sunday in Anaheim how horrible he looked and how clean shaven he is tonight? You know?
Well, he's out all night. You know, I mean, I think he would get a little rest before he sees mom and dad.
Yeah, at least find the
LA
laser.
native. Olson swings and misses on the 1-2 pitch. So Matt Olson strikes out for the 2nd time. That's 9 strikeouts now by A's hitters.
Well, Matt Olson may be realizing that what he did last year in so few games with 24 home runs, and now all of a sudden he's got that target saying, you're not going to be doing that on every pitch. You know, we're going to pitch a little bit differently, and those are the adjustments that major league players make. Position player, pitchers, it does not matter. You are exposed. They will find out what you can or cannot do. And adjustments, main priority, top priority for all players at this level. Because once you get here, the hardest part is staying here. And there's always somebody every June they're drafting and trying to get a bunch of players to the big leagues.
Seager's got it. Flips to second, side retired. So a hit, nothing else for the A's. We have reached the 7th inning stretch from Los Angeles. 4-0 the Dodgers lead.
is Taylor with a 2-1 fastball. And then on the 1-1 fastball, it was the next batter, Corey Seager, with a solo home run.
Corey Seager's going to lead things off after a home run in the first inning.
That was a start that the A's were not expecting by the Dodgers in this game. You know, Sean Manaea has been pitching so great, and all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3 first inning, actually a walk to Chapman, and then first 2 batters home run. The A's are down 2-0 before 1 out recorded by Sean Manaea.
So now it's 4-0. Seager, Puig, and Kike Hernandez against Danny Coulombe. Sliced foul. Indians beat the Tigers today 2-1. Chris Hatcher starts to throw for the A's.
The former Dodger, Chris Hatcher.
Yeah. Slowly hit. Seager's pretty fast, but Coulombe does a nice job to get over there. You can see there's a spot on the right side of the infield. If the ball goes to that area, you know it's going to be a close play at first.
Watch Matt Olson with the flip of the glove, just to highlight type play to Coulombe covering, but you try to transfer, there's no way probably going to be able to get it to him quickly enough to get the out, but a great play by Matt Olson circling around to get the play. Big first baseman's mitt, opening it up, kind of fanning the glove to make sure he was able to get it out of the glove, and a nice flip to Danny Coulombe covering.
2 things there that will go very, very underrated and will probably go overlooked are 1, the point you made, Foss, about him rounding the ball, and 2, the flip with that glove.
Yeah.
Not an easy play to make, something you have to basically have become an extension of you to get a feel for that, a first baseman glove. So great job by Olin.
I like the way he kind of opened the glove up.
Right.
Because it is big, but if he had kept it closed, then it could have gotten caught up in the webbing, but he kind of opened it up, fanned it, and then just took it out of the palm of the glove with a nice flip.
And it's something you see a lot with a first baseman's glove. That glove can become flimsy at times. Right. You know, and it's a heck of a job by Coulombe. Obviously, lefty, finish it over third base side, does a good job to get himself in position, get over there, cover. But again, you know, something that doesn't get talked about a lot on that infamous play by Buckner over at first base, the ball through the legs. If you're ever able to slow it down and take a good look, that ball basically glances off the soft leather of Buckner's glove. So if it was a sturdier glove, something that might be able to open a little bit more, 86 for the Mets might not have happened.
That's right.
Yeah, I've heard that story too, that his glove was very flimsy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, on the end by the, by the webbing.
Like a dirty dish rag.
Yeah.
And I also heard they wanted to make sure he was out there for the celebration. That never occurred. Because he should never have been out there. I mean, he could barely walk. His ankles, I mean, you could tell even as his feet got kind of twisted a little bit as he went for it. But to Dallas's point, your point about hitting the glove, but I'd read that, you know, they wanted him out there because that was going to be the celebration for the first time since 18, and never happened. But, you know, Cora was the Red Sox admitted yesterday, whenever they had the 6-run comeback in the 8th inning, he forgot to put defense in for J.D. Martinez.
Yep.
You know, and he admitted, he said, I got caught up in the comeback. I just forgot.
That's right. They scored what, 7-8 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Exactly. Well, JR, you're the best, buddy.
So 2-2 to Puig. And Puig swings and misses. So that's out number 2.
Second baseman number 14.
Take a look at StatCast. This is how quick it was, guys. We're going to put a StatCast on him. Finish to the third base side. Get on them getaway sticks, Danny. That's right, 23 miles an hour. Hustling, little lefty.
Well, the nice thing, the follow through to the third base side, and then presence of mind to be able to go up the line, like you're talking about, to avoid a collision. Because with the fast runner getting down there, you want to avoid that. If you go straight across the bag, you get hit. But you take the ball and then run up the line towards the outfield, make the curve back towards the pitcher's mound.
We just stat-casted the pitcher. That's pretty good.
That's at 23 miles per hour from a dead stop.
He deserves it.
It's raw athleticism on display.
23 feet per second. Okay. That's what I'm not in. I just want to see if that round circle can be followed or caught instead of chasing. I'd like to find out from Delay how long it takes for him to color those squares.
I don't know.
To be able to go, you know. Or Hootie.
He's a talented guy.
Yeah. Delay, Hootie, Tommy. I mean, they're all just putting it all together.
Breaking ball and could have been called a strike. Unfortunately, it popped out of Lucroy's glove. That's Ross Stripling. So 2-1 the count to Kiki Hernandez. And now 3-1. Liam Hendricks did not get anybody out, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs. Walked 1. Colon got the 3 outs in the 6th inning after coming in for Hendricks. 2 of them on a double play. Now full count, 85 miles an hour.
Good thing about the A's pitchers overall, minimizing the number of walks they're giving up to free passes. And right now, Danny Coulomb, see what he does, 3 and 2. There's 1 for Manaea, 1 for Hendrick. And the curveball is the pitch, the called by Jonathan Lucroy.
And he got him. Good curveball from Coulomb. Couple of strikeouts for the lefty. 8th inning coming up. Still 4-0 Dodgers.
Each pack includes tickets to 8 games. Package includes great matchups like the Giants, these Dodgers, Yankees, and others. Each pack comes with a 50% off parking pass option, the free etched 50th anniversary commemorative glass. Visit athletics.com/50pack. That's athletics.com/50pack. Good deal. A lot of good deals at the Coliseum this year as the pitcher comes on.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. That new pitcher is Ross Stripling, the right-hander. Stripling taking over here in the 8th inning. 28-year-old right-hander. Stripling pitched in 49 games last year. 3-5, 3.75 ERA. Couple years in the big leagues. 1-1 the count to Stephen Piscotty.
See there, that slider, fastball, slider combination. Throws a wrinkle in there as well with the curveball. Will utilize the changeup a lot more against the lefties than the righties.
Got in on Piscotty that time with a fastball.
Yeah, see, I'll still say with the specialization of the bullpen, one of the reasons that the great Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, I don't know that will ever end.
Yeah,
or be equal, just because, I mean, if you can get a starter to go beyond 6 innings, you might face him twice, because if he's pitching 6, like Ryu tonight, he went through the lineup 2 times and then 2 of the 3rd time. So then you start seeing the relievers. Was it somebody said Joe DiMaggio on his 56-game hitting streak, so a total of 65 pitchers.
Yes.
Yeah.
65 pitchers in a 56 game. You know, and today you may see 3 different. You may see 3 pitchers and 4 at-bats.
Well, Foss, to your point, that's a great point. I was actually, as you started to tell that story, I was looking up the numbers. I believe it was Odubel Herrera 2 or 3 years ago was on a 30-game plus hit streak and had already seen upwards of 70 pitchers.
Yeah. And he's still 26 away from tying the record. 26.
2-2 the count.
I'd like to know how Joe DiMaggio was up hitting and the camera's right in his face. Flashing every,
That's a good question.
Because the camera people could go up by home plate.
And you know what? As the hitting streak went on and on and on, they got a little bit closer. Those are the great shots from the 30s, 40s, 50s, where the still photographers were right there. That'd be, I don't know, 12, 15 feet from home plate.
Standing up there, big flash bulbs.
I mean, there's still, Michael Zagaris gets almost that close.
But,
right? I mean,
but only between innings. This was during the game the guy was hitting.
There's a big difference. We're teasing you, Z man.
Yeah, Z's usually in the dugout. Hey, there's a great play. Look at the high fives. There's Michael Z.
I think I can remember a mound meeting at one time.
Oh, he's there. Oh yeah, no question.
Join us for Michael Zagaris tomorrow.
Join us tomorrow as the A's continue this 2-game set against the Dodgers. Migden and Wood. Of course, Alex Wood, a left-hander. Coverage begins at 6:30 with A's pregame live, and you can now stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app. So Migden and Wood.
See, the good thing about Daniel Migden, you saw him with the mustache, the handlebar, but also remember, the A's are on the road. So that's good news because he doesn't win at home. Maybe he should have the mustache like he has it tonight to pitch at home.
Joyce is going to hit for Smolinski.
And the reality for the A's, they have an off day yesterday, an off day Thursday, and you only really need 4 starting pitchers, which allows you during these interleague games to have some extra players because these are situations you don't want to get down in the game, but if you do, you're going to have pinch hitters.
Yep. You might as well. I mean, if you feel like there's a spot to use them, you got to use them. The A's have already used Trace Thompson and now Joyce. The rest of the bench is Maxwell, Barreto, and Canna. Stripling delivers and pitches inside, so it's 2-0.
Well, the A's were almost, we hit perfect game, almost shut out, but thanks to Matt and Joyce in the 9th inning. It's against Pena of the Angels, able to hit a home run to make it a 6-1 game, so at least the A's were not shut out. But unfortunately, only 3 hits that game, and tonight they just have 2.
A couple of home runs in that series for Matt Joyce.
Going back to the team that he played for, one of the 3,217 left fielders that didn't really pan out for the Angels, but now they have Jay up, and I think they're kind of set right now for left field for a while. That may change their whole season for them.
Rolled over in the count. Even now at 2-2. The crowd tonight, 41,243. That's a pretty typical crowd for Dodger Stadium. Actually, it's down a little bit.
On a Tuesday night.
They have led the major leagues in attendance 5 consecutive seasons. And there's no reason to think they won't do it this year. Last year they averaged 46,492 per game. Strike 3 called on a breaking ball. Dropped right in their first strike.
Well, he continued to battle throughout the entire AB. Stripling didn't want to give in, wasn't going to give in, finds himself deep in the count. Joyce, obviously a good fastball hitter. Stripling says, you know what? I'm going to try my luck with the curveball. Caught him guessing.
Well, that one word, Dallas, on 2 strikes, the word guessing, just something that you don't really want to see, but unfortunately it happens often where you see guys taking strike 3 regardless of the pitch. Because if they take a pitch, it means they're, I don't know, it's a changed game because of the way the approach is, and that's why strikeouts are up. But so Jock Peterson strikeout on the fastball, lower part of the strike zone, and there's a curveball that Joyce got.
So here's Mark Canha. Canha drives on the right. Puig getting back. Puig's going to turn around and he makes the kill. So Canha hit that ball pretty well. But it's the second out.
Shortstop number 10, Marcus Semien.
Well, the one thing about the hip surgery injury that Canha had, but after that he got better, but still it allowed him, when he had the hip problem, to hit the ball to the right side. Had a couple of home runs before he ended up going on the disabled list because of the hip. A good approach on an off speed or breaking pitch going away from him instead of trying to pull it. Opposite field, but not deep enough.
Top of the order, Marcus Semien, who's 0 for 3. Good curveball from Stripling. And he snaps that off, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Got a good one. Matt Joyce found it.
And he's got the ability to shape both of those pitches, that curveball and the slider. You see guys do it a lot today. They make it bigger early. They make it tighter late. They're looking for barrel action or action just off the barrel, excuse me.
And we always thought that about Barry Zito's curveball. It was so good. It was so big. A lot of guys didn't swing at it.
And umpires didn't call it.
Yeah, because it was like, well, it's way up there. It's not going to be a strike. And then it would drop in for a strike.
And there's a good look. He finds himself, you know, even in a count, looking to slow the hitter down. Tries to drop that curveball in, run that fastball up in the top of the zone.
It must be nice to be able to be someone like Barry Zito with that type of a curveball, or the Hall of Famer Burt Blyleven. Everybody kind of compares the curveball because he had a great curveball that he used different ways.
So Burt flipped it up there a couple different ways?
Oh, different ways. I saw him at age 19 down in Florida Instructional League, and I said, oof, he was nasty. And he's back freezing in Minneapolis right now.
He is.
Dick Bremer.
So a full count now to Marcus Semien. That'll get Piscotty moving on the pitch. Bellinger steps back behind him just a little bit. There he goes. 3-2 pitch is hit down the left field line. Hooking, headed for the corner, and it bounces up into the seats. And that's going to be a double, and it cost the A's a run. They're going to tell Piscotty to go back to third. That's a very short wall down the left field line. Same thing down the right field line. Looks like it's maybe 5 feet high. And when it hits the warning track's hard dirt, and it bounced right up over.
And there's your curveball. Tried to go it again. This time it left it up, unlike the one he threw to Matt Joyce. And Marcus Semien with a good swing, unfortunately, hits the hard pan and bounces into the seats, and that is a ground rule double. A fan got it. Ooh, right in the. Said he caught it. No, you didn't use your stomach, but that's okay. You got it. But unfortunately, it did cost the A's a run, and now Matt Chapman's going to have to come through. Well, speaking of Matt Chapman, Green Fridays at the ballpark continue April the 20th as the Red Sox come to the Coliseum for the beginning of a 3-game series. First 20,000 fans get this Matt Chapman replica green jersey. It's 3 games against Boston starting on Friday, April 20th. You can grab your phone and pop in athletics.com/tickets to grab yours today. And folks, we have shown that jersey, and it is something that you want to see. And you know what? Get there before the Red Sox Nation do, because you know the Red Sox Nation is going to be at the Coliseum. Yeah. They're off to a good start, and for some reason the nation is everywhere. They show up, whether they're fans or not. You can always tell if they have the new gear on. They became Red Sox Nation fans whenever they bought a brand new jersey. So let's see if Matt Chapman can come through with another 2-out hit like Marcus Semien did, and the A's can split the difference here.
So the first opportunity for the Athletics, that pitch in the dirt.
Good block by Austin Barnes with the runner at third. Piscotty, actually, who walked to lead off this inning, had crossed home plate and was headed in the dugout. Checking the scouting report on the pitchers in the bullpen, and really Bob Melvin's options are limited now as far as who he has available, depending who comes in. Not going to pinch hit for anybody right now anyway.
Well, I got this as the A's first at bat with runners in scoring position.
Exactly right.
And I got this as a crucial at bat here for the Oakland A's. Matt Chapman, I'm having flashbacks right now of him catching that wrinkle from Ohtani up in the zone, delivering a big blow. Stripling unable to locate the heater here, finds himself in a 2-0 count, playing right into the hands of Matt Chapman.
Cued up the first baseline foul.
Take a look at StatCast here to get some love on that Semien knock down the line. Got the head out, was out in front of that breaker that just didn't have the finish to it. Exit velo upwards of 90, launch angle 28. Good for a homer if the juice was there. Not so much. We'll take the double. Runners in scoring position.
Good, nicely hit the grass and die. Have a checkup with the grass and keep it in play.
Puig in a couple steps, makes the catch, side retired. So the A's strand a pair, both in scoring position. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Still 4-0 LA. Dealers 0-3-0 for the A's, 4-10-0 for the Dodgers. Sean Manaea, well, roughed up early in the game, but then settled down. Ryu was very good. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. As you see, the game started, the bottom of the first started with back-to-back home runs by Taylor and Seager. So A's offense struggling again tonight. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. It's Chris Hatcher, the former Dodger. So Matt Joyce now in center field. Matt Kemp goes after the first pitch, pops it up. So Kemp is retired.
I just wonder, Chase Utley, as we mentioned in Oakland, where Chris Hatcher talked about Chase Utley picking up, and he was tipping his pitches and helped him. They were teammates, and I just wonder now if Chase Utley, who is waiting to become the fourth or fifth to be hit over 200 times, but Chris Hatcher has changed his delivery. Now turns his back to home plate when he does decide. There's the veteran Chase Utley, who said he became gray at age 4.
That's not good. Man.
An old soul of sorts.
Right. He said the Dodgers only signed one guy in the offseason. He was it. Because they wanted his presence, and not at Christmas, presence in the dugout, in the clubhouse, and if you're not afraid to get hit 199 times. Oh boy.
Hatcher bare hands. He fires to first, not in time. Bellinger hit that right off the end of the bat with the shift on. Really not a whole lot anybody could do, and I think Hatcher actually made it closer than I thought he would.
I thought it'd been better not even to throw the ball, but he did. And he did make a good throw, which is important. And a lot of foul territory down the lines behind home plate. First base gets stretched by Matt Olson, but there's your big swing cue shot, and Bellinger sees where it is, able to hustle and beat it out.
And Bellinger with a couple of singles tonight. Here's Logan Forsythe.
He's got some adjustments to make too in his second year after hitting 39 home runs last year.
Forsythe is 1 for 3. He had an RBI double in the 6th inning. That fastball well away. It's been a while for Hatcher. He has not pitched since last Thursday. So he did not see any action in the Anaheim series.
That's a home run that gave that to Chu in the 9th inning, a 2-run shot to make it a 3-run game.
There's the strike. Hatcher, who's going to be an important guy in this day's bullpen. Sometimes the games just don't fit the proper situation. Hatcher, in his 3 seasons with the Dodgers, 2015 pitched in 49 games, 2016 37 games. And then last year, half the season with the Dodgers, and then half the season with the Athletics. That one line foul. Hatcher also pitched in the big leagues with the Marlins. Head in the count to Logan Forsythe with Barnes, the catcher, to hit next. So night game again tomorrow, and then these will have another off day in Seattle.
And expect rain all 3 days. So fortunately, they have the carport, the roof to cover the field. Conditions are there. It's supposed to be cold and rainy, but at least the games will be played.
So 3-2 the count to Forsythe. See if Bellinger takes off. Bellinger was running in the 6th inning on Forsythe's double. Good lead at first, and he takes off. And the ball's hit towards center. Joyce is right there, and he makes the catch. So Bellinger back to first base.
Number 15, Austin
It's
Barnes.
always a good idea to have the runner on the move, 3-2, because it is. I mean, you got some pitcher going to throw off speed. A lot of times they'll go hard and you make contact, some sort of contact, and key is to stay out of a double play. And also score on a ball that's in the gap if you're on the move.
There's Chase Utley. May get a chance to hit in the game. There are 2 outs. And the first pitch drops in at the bottom of the strike zone. Barnes with a single and a walk. Yasmani Grandal is the other Dodgers catcher. Scott Alexander warming up.
You guys mentioned Hatcher having a few days off in between now and his last outing or his previous outing. Always a good idea to take this ball game, this opportunity, to, regardless of the score, as that opportunity to get yourself back in a groove. Knock off any rust you might have felt in your early outings early on in the year. But again, what it does is it helps establish your presence in that bullpen, your ability to be relied upon in a crucial situation, high leverage situation.
You do all that for the manager and the pitching coach, but also for yourself to gain confidence to be able to come in more crucial situations. This trying to keep it at a 4-run deficit.
Right, we saw it last night. The Houston Astros, A.J. Hinch brought in Vinsky for 1 pitch, excuse me, 1 out, and again to put him in those situations, breed success.
A little bit low at 92 miles an hour. So 2-1 the count. Four runs and 11 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 0-3-0 for the A's. That one right in there, first strike.
The Dodgers and the Giants, the first 4 games, all shutouts.
Yep. Very strange series.
Yeah, very strange. Split it 2-2, but all 4 shutouts. Has it never happened before to start a season? Something like that? I mean, it is unusual. You figure you're going to score a run.
Somewhere.
I mean, the A's scored only 1 on Sunday, and so far tonight they haven't scored any.
Strike 3 call. So Hatcher strands a runner, and we're headed to the 9th. Last shot for the A's.
of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So Jed Lowry's going to lead things off for the A's in the top of the 9th inning. Their last shot, they trailed the Dodgers 4-0. It'll be Lowry, Davis, and Olson, the heart of the order. A's have had one scoring opportunity. That was in the 8th inning. They had second and third and 2 outs. So Stripling is back out there for his second inning of work. Ryu went 6, Cingrani an inning, and now Stripling his second inning. There's a strike. Outside corner, 1-1 the count. So not much offense Sunday in Anaheim, and not much offense tonight for the Athletics, so that's a little frustrating.
Well, the pitcher said there's Kiki Hernandez, who moves to left. Chase Utley, the veteran, at second base. But, you know, things happen early in the season. You want to get off the schneid, whether you're a pitcher, position player, you hit or whatever. If it happens during the middle of the season, it's just a little bit of a slump and you go forward. And you don't want it to happen at the beginning or postseason. Anytime other than that, it's okay, because you figure you can get through it, no big deal. But too much pressure put on yourself, and just try to get through it, get back the way you know you're going to be, and finish the season. The late, great Dave Henderson always said, you're always going to end up exactly where you're supposed to be. I always think about that. And no matter how you start, how you finish, you know, it's actually where you're supposed to be when the season, everything is said and done. I mean, granted, you might have a spectacular season, but in reality, you just get back down to where everything is just normal and average, whatever it's supposed to be.
Full count to Lowry, who has struck out and grounded out twice. Kenley Jansen, just in case. That one hit very high down the right field line. Puig is there, and he makes the catch a couple steps into foul territory.
Yeah, just a little bit too quick. Ball traveled just a little bit longer. Might have been in the seats for a home run, similar to what Matt Joyce did in the 9th inning on Sunday.
So one away here in the top of the 9th, and here's Chris Davis. Chris Davis has struck out twice and singled, so he has one of the A's 3 hits. And he's got another hit as he lines one to right center.
If nothing else, maybe tonight gets Chris Davis swinging the bat well.
First baseman number 28.
Well, that would be huge.
Because they are going to start swinging, and see, that's the pitch where he opens up slightly, the pitch outside or inside, and a bullet over Chase Utley's head in the right center, where Taylor was playing it perfectly.
I don't think it's a coincidence that the A's offense struggling a little bit and Chris Davis struggling.
Right.
You're talking about a big power presence right in the middle of that lineup. Think about what Chapman can do, what Olson can do, the tear that Jed's capable of getting on, and you plug a Chris Davis 40+ homer potential right in the middle of that, that lineup starts to get long quick.
Matt Olson 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts and a ground out to first. And he missed that one and running in on Olson. So Olson's going to have to fight back down in the count. And he does, and he lines one to left, and that's going to be a hit.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
Didn't try to overdo anything. It's a nice, easy swing.
Well, you take what you're given, and if it's an outside fastball, then you do it. That's a safe situation. See what Dave Roberts is going to do with Kenley Jensen in the bullpen. Tie him on the on-deck circle. There's the pitch, and there's a high fastball outside, and he goes perfectly to the opposite field. Fortunately, kept playing just deep enough, or kind of take that back. Hernandez playing in left field now. And here comes Dave Roberts. Yeah.
So they are going to the big closer, Kenley Jansen. And it is indeed, as Ray said, a save situation with the tying run in the on-deck circle. So the A's trying to make some noise here in the ninth, trailing 4-0. California A's broadcast on your desktop or mobile device. A's games streamed on the go on the NBC Sports app. So ninth inning is, A's will not be able to walk off tonight, but they could put a little scare here as the Dodgers bring in their terrific closer Kenley Jansen.
Well, at least they had to bring him in. That's a plus for the A's. You see, actually, something, I mean, it's been rare for him all season. That's just the way the Dodgers have gone. 4 games, he's 0-1. He's already blown a save. A natural cut fastball, throws hard. And the guy facing him has faced him, Jonathan Lucroy. So some familiarity, really, the next couple of batters, Lucroy and Piscotty. But he's still tough. Wearing the number 74 for a former position player. As a free agent, decided to re-sign with the Dodgers.
A lot of talk about that velocity being down a little bit, but I guess those last couple outings it's ticked up a little bit. 0-1 to Lucroy, who has grounded out 3 times. And now it's 0-2. He can't throw it straight.
And guys, I can tell you even from down here, the gun does say 92, but you can tell the arm speed is just not quite there. Taking a little more to get it going for Kenley.
Foul back by Lucroy. Nine big league seasons, couple of all-star appearances. All-time Dodgers save leader. Last year, 41 saves. He struck out 109 batters in 68 innings.
You saw that big number there, 745 punch-outs. That is a Dodger reliever record.
0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. 92 miles an hour in the cutter.
Well, slight hesitation on his delivery also out of the stretch.
So the A's 11th strikeout. See how it just cuts?
Just cuts just enough. It's like Mariano Rivera reincarnated.
Man, I mean, when he's on top of his game, I mean, he's 94, 95 with that pitch. So the velocity just down a couple ticks. He just need one more hitter on to get that tying run to the plate. Want to know to Piscotty, who is 1 for 2. Good take there. Checks his swing and a high fastball. Single and a walk for Piscotty.
Jensen was a free agent before last year, and it was his third baseman. I mean, if you think about it, you're in one organization, they love you. Why would you want to change?
I agree.
You know, for a few $1 million. Justin Turner's one that told him, said, everybody knows you're the Dodgers. You go someplace else, you're just another player.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. The hometown fans will cut you more slack if you're one of their own as opposed to a free agent guy that comes in.
And that's why I thought Albert Bell, when he left Cleveland, go to Chicago and Baltimore, he was, if he stays in Cleveland, some of the things he did, they loved him no matter what.
3-0 pitch is a strike, so now it's 3-1. Matt Joyce would hit next if Piscotty can get aboard.
And that would be a thing of beauty for Piscotty to find a way to get on.
And now it's 3-2. So the runners will be taken off. Davis at second, Olsen at first. What's left of this crowd of 41,000 rises to its feet. Payoff pitch, here it is, and it's rolled slowly. Seager charges, he's got it, throws on the run, and Bellinger digs it out, and that's the ball game. So game 1 of this quick 2-game interleague series goes to the Dodgers as the A's are shut out for the first time this season. It took 2 hours and 49 minutes. The crowd tonight here at Dodger Stadium was 41,243. Final score tonight, the Dodgers over the Athletics, 4-0. Time now for A's Post Game Live. Here is Brody Brazil.